This is your boy, The Green Talent, coming to you with a video that is about the Eagles win, 40-22 win. And as we continue to be excited about this victory that we have just witnessed, let it be known that we are 5-6, and that's one of the best records we ever could be in. So without any further ado, listen to what they have to say right quick. Listen.
Previously 5-4 New Orleans Saints. The Eagles now with a 5-6 record. There's Jeffrey Lurie. He's got to be pleased and proud of his team. Look at this team and what it has done, and it has won 3 of the last 4 games. And how about Jake Elliott coming in? Man, oh man, he's having a heck of a season. He's almost automatic, Jake Elliott. Almost is. Fletcher Cox forcing that fumble earlier in the game. He's coming back to form. He's got another year on his deal after this one. Want to see him in this town. Look, there are ebbs and flows in any season. And the Eagles now have won 3 out of their last 4 games. I don't care how they started. It's how you finish in any sport, in any league, and the way they're Miles Sanders, yeah, you put one on the floor, so what? Miles Sanders is back. Barrett said it. Seth said it. You put him back where he belongs, running the rock and making those great plays.
I ain't going to say very much. They say it all for me, but I do got a few things to say about this victory, though.
As a Philadelphia Eagles coach, and it was thrilling to watch the fans there, those that didn't leave in the beginning of the 4th quarter, which is a whole nother story, as Ray and I watched him stream out. Jordan Mailata, is this guy tough? Why did it take 4 years to become a stud for this guy? You know why? They didn't recognize the talent right off the bat. This guy was Barrett Brooks reincarnated. I'll tell you what, except he can play the guitar and he can sing.
You may have a point
on the
there.
rock too. He's unbelievable.
Barrett Brooks
team is a
one of the
different
best
team. And you look at the schedule now for your Philadelphia Eagles, and you got Jets, Giants, bye week, Washington, all these cream puffs coming down. I know they're in the NFL. I get it. But the schedule is fair. Maybe even Gardner Minshew gets into a game late in the game when they're icing it. How about that? By the way, number 27, Malcolm Jenkins for the New Orleans Saints. Anybody here from Malcolm Jenkins? Anybody? Anybody? Malcolm. No, Avante Maddox.
New money.
Also, wasn't just Dallas Goedert got a new deal back?
Yes, new money.
Their roommates, too. Avante Maddox got a new deal. And here's Devontae Smith.
Slim Sassy.
Yeah, he looked, again, made some plays today. Certainly didn't have the catch like he had last week, but he is just solid at the wide receiver position. Can't say as much for a guy who was picked high for the Eagles a couple years ago, Jalen Reagor. They need to make something happen.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
The next one out of town. But when you watch
the Jalen Reagor to be talked out of town.
Man,
have a good point there. I'm a few things I got to say about him as well. So it is what it is.
The NFC East, they now play the Giants, then they play the Jets, and they have every chance, if not to win out, to do some damage. And who knows? I mean, they're 5-6 right now, and next week 6-6, and on and on and as Barrett Brooks would say. And we welcome Barrett Brooks and Ray Dittinger and Seth Joyner. I'm Michael Barkan. This is Eagles Post Game Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance. In a few moments, not only will we get the opinions of these fine gentlemen, but we'll also hear from Nick Sirianni on his first home win as Philadelphia.
Yeah, we had a home victory finally. Either have had a home victory since last year. That's a long time.
As it should.
Now, in fact, the last home victory was against the New Orleans Saints at home. So the Eagles have played back-to-back games against New Orleans in Philadelphia.
Far from that today, because they ran the ball. They put almost 400 yards of offense against a team that's the best rushing defense in the NFL. Boom. How about that? Go ahead, I'm going to be in the car. You're
going to be in the car.
You take it from here. I'm excited about this.
Me too, man. This is a great win. They ran the ball on the number 1 ranked rushing defense. They applied pressure. And, at the end of the day, the defense played well. You have good defense, and you can run the ball. That equals success. That equals a win. And they're starting to get the formula, what it takes to be a good team. Now, we're not saying they're, out of the woods yet. But they are definitely on the way of becoming somebody that you got to think about in the near future of being a team that's pretty good. And it all starts with number 1. His ability to take control of the offense.
Hurts, baby. Hurts. He's hurting them, baby. He's, like I said earlier in the season, he's hurting them, yo. He's hurting them.
He talked about as far as a guy that could be in this franchise for a long time. So we'll see. We'll see.
Raymondo, we talked about it with Seth and Barrett. We talked about the growth that the Eagles team in general, as a whole, would need to experience, and damn the playoffs this year. We want to see growth from the new coaching staff. We want to see growth at the quarterback position from the line, which has had injuries and different guys playing along the line. But you can do both, it would appear. And when you look at the growth this team has seen, is it enough for you? And would you say that there's a bigger upside still this season?
Oh, you certainly think so, Mike. Yeah, the reason I didn't even entertain the discussion about the playoffs as of last week was I said, look, let's see him win a home game, and let's see him put 2 wins back-to-back before we start even talking about the playoffs. That was my stipulation, okay? Well, you got 2 scoops today. You got them both. You got the home win, and now you got to win. You actually have 2 games back-to-back. So I think in light of the team that you beat today, and in light of the schedule that you have coming up from this point forward, yeah, I mean, you do have to think about the very real possibility that this team could find its way into the postseason. It's not a flight of fancy now. I mean, it's taking on some shape. I kind of agree with what you just said, is that you can have both. You can talk in terms of the growth and what you kind of want to see this team building for the future, for down the road with the young players on the team. That's very real. And that
Ray
really
Dangerable, he one of the best Eagle reporters in history.
There's no question.
And that's for me to say that, that's saying something.
And the way that you're playing right now, you've put yourself in a position to maybe make it into the postseason. But my
postseason.
You know what I'm saying?
I've met it.
Reality check. Who's not in reality now? This team's going to the playoffs.
Just play.
Finish up.
Don't reality. Don't
said the same thing in pregame.
Yeah, don't start putting words in my mouth. But
Never do that.
I mean, there's no getting. Look, whoever thought going into this game, given the opponent, I mean, the Saints are a good team still. I mean, and their defense is totally legit. They have issues on offense for sure, but their defense is totally legit. I mean, who figured that we'd be looking at an extended garbage time, which is basically kind of what the fourth quarter turned into? Did you think that? I thought this game was going to be played right down to the final series. I thought it was going to be a low-scoring, close, final possession kind of game. Turns out that the fourth quarter is garbage time. And the Eagles really, I mean, made a lot of plays. They converted third downs. They moved the ball. The quarterback played extremely well against a really good defense. The Saints certainly have the injury issues, but they're on one side of the ball. They're not on the defensive side of the ball. And the Eagles were a better, more physical, more efficient team than the Saints were defensively. And I did not think I'd be saying that going into this game.
Yeah. Seth, take a look at some of the numbers for the Philadelphia Eagles and what they did to the averages of the New Orleans Saints defense. Because the Saints, Eagles today, Saints averaging under 20 points allowed per game. Eagles put up a 40 spot. Yards per game allowed for the Saints, 377.8. Eagles put up almost 400. Rushing yards allowed, 72.9. Eagles put up 242. Now, I know the Saints were missing their starting quarterback. I know the Saints were missing their starting tackles. But I think, as you put it during the week, they weren't missing Marshawn Lattimore et al. And all that defense that they've got. So that would seem to be a pretty big achievement for the Eagles offense.
Well, something had to give. Over the last 3 weeks, the Philadelphia Eagles have been number 3 in the NFL running the football, and the New Orleans Saints came in as the number 1 rush defense. So something had to give. You got to realize the Eagles ran the ball 50 times today. 50 times for 4.8 per
50
carry
runs. Wow. That's astonishing.
Put the ball up 24 times. So they completely flipped the script of where they were early in the year. I mean, you're talking 50-50 run to pass rather than pass to run.
If my boy Seth Joyner talking, y'all, listen.
I think this does a lot for this offense because we talked early on about their identity and who they were and what they were going to be. They are clearly a running football team. And as much as I love Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard and his ability to run the football is a big deal because of how he runs in between the tackles. He's straight ahead. There's no hitch in his get up. He knows where he's going, north and south. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I don't know how serious his knee injury is, but that's a big injury if he's out for any extended period of time, because you saw in the second half, they really couldn't run the ball the way that they ran it in the first half.
Yeah, Howard did go out with a banged up knee. I hope that ain't serious well.
In their play calling, and it just looked sloppy. It looked ugly. They looked really inefficient, until Jalen Hurts takes off and runs that ball for a touchdown and really, seals the deal. We were all kind of sitting on the edge of our seats wondering, if the Eagles are going to let this one slip away. But they flipped their season on its head by making the decision over the last 4 weeks to just run the football. And that's their identity.
By the way, they ran it 50 times, including Jalen Hurts. 50 times and 27 intended passes, 24 legit. He was sacked 3 times. I don't know how many of his 18 carries.
And that's what they need to fix too. The situation with the sacks. Hurts can start getting rid of the ball quicker than what he should. Because he tried to force plays down the middle of the field, and it didn't work for him. He wasn't getting sacked. In those 3 attempts he tried to get downfield with the ball.
Run plays. I don't like the fact that when I look at the stats that he ran the ball 18 times. He ran the ball more than, your starting running back. That I don't like. You're just tempting fate. Even though, I think he's in supreme shape. The kid squats 600 pounds. He's as strong as a horse. So I don't see him getting hurt. But don't tempt fate 18 times in a game against the NFL defense with your starting quarterback.
What'd you say on that last cut he made? That's anybody else's knee.
Well, I mean, absolutely. That cut he made on that touchdown run, if you're not squatting 600 pounds, you're not stopping that suddenly and changing direction. The average football player, the average human being that tries that cut, they're bringing out the cart to wheel them off the torn ACL or sprained MCL or something's going on. But it's phenomenal, his athletic ability. But I want to see the Eagles get to a point where they stop running him so much. And I understand why, because when you're so run heavy with your running backs, those times when he pulls it against bad defenses, he's going to make a lot of yards. But I don't want to put him in harm's way as much as they are. He had 18 carries, and Miles Sanders only touched the ball 16 times.
We're going to...
Okay, now, just to elaborate on what Seth Jordan was saying about Hurts and the 18 rushes that he ran the football, which is accurately true. We do have the number 3, possible now number 2 ranked run game in the NFL as it currently stands. But running your quarterback 18 to 20 times per game, you can't afford that, because see, he's the only franchise quarterback the Eagles have on the roster. Minshew, don't get me wrong, Minshew is a pure pocket passer. The guy can get the ball out of his hand quite quickly. But compared to Minshew and compared to Hurts, you can't compare the two because they're both differently. Hurts is built low to the ground, so they gave him the ability to run, for long balls, and at the same time, it gives him a chance to go side to side to get the ball out of his hands accurately, which I need to see more of. Hurts needs to start throwing the ball more from the pocket now, because see, now he has the offensive line, and they can protect, they can pass block. And yes, the Hurts need to start waiting patiently into the backfield, waiting to his routes on the receiver to open up so he can get the ball out. He had less than 200 yards passing today. I was hoping that he would get at least over 200 yards passing the game. I think he had like 178, 180 yards. No touchdown throwing, but he ran for 3 touchdowns on the ground today. You know what I'm saying? I give him credit for that, which he also broken Randall Cunningham's all-time Eagles rushing record in one season. He owns that record now. I think Randall Cunningham had like 10 or 12. Randall Cunningham had 10 or 12 rushing touchdowns per season. Hurts had 12. So he broken the record wide open. The record now belongs to Jalen Hurts. He now the Eagles all-time rusher and touchdowns rushing per season. You know what I'm saying? So he still owns that record, and he owns that record now, and he gets to add more to that going into the season. But see now, He need to start throwing the ball a little bit more. I think he can get that opportunity against the New York Giants. Is who we play next week at New York. So the Eagles going back on the road, and then after the New York Giants game, the Eagles play the New York Jets. Now, 3 or 4 videos ago, I said that if the Eagles don't get their act together offensively and defensively, particularly defensively, the Eagles are going to lose the game against the New York Jets. Now, after today's victory, our back-to-back victories, I can no longer say that. I think the Eagles have a good chance of beating or stomping the mud hole in the New York Jets at New York. You know what I'm saying? Because it could be in the same thing. Because the Jets and the Giants both play in the same stadium. So the Eagles probably gonna want to stand in New York. You might as well. You know what I'm saying? You might want to stay in New York because you're gonna be playing both two of these New York teams back to back. So the Eagles could beat the New York Giants. That's a possibility because the Giants are not no flanker team either. The Giants are not. They're not a bad team. They're not a good team. They're more of a subpar team. So the Eagles could beat the Giants in New York, and then later after the bye week, I think the Eagles play the Washington Redskins after the bye. So, which by the way, the Washington Redskins won today. They are 4. I think they're 4 and 5, or they're 4 and 5, I believe. So the Eagles, so the Washington Redskins are right behind us at four victories and losses concerned. But Jalen Hurts did real well. I mean, he ran the ball efficiently. Like I said, the 3 touchdown scores that he ran by himself are now Eagles all-time record because he had beaten Randall Cunningham's rush record that stood for over 30, that meant 40 years. You know what I'm saying? And I think he ran them yards back in, let me see. Let me see. He Randall Cunningham was drafted back in 85. 85, I want to say 87 or 88. That is the year, one of those years is the year that they had 10 rushing touchdowns per in that whole season. It's 8 or 10, whatever the record was. It was either 87 or 88 that he rushed for the most yards in the season. We still, it's an all-time Eagles record. Michael Vick right behind Randall Cunningham for all-time yards. I think he passed Michael Vick games ago. Now he's right behind Randall Cunningham. I think like 2 or 3 tough rushing touchdowns, and he did all that in this game today. You know what I'm saying? This game against New Orleans Saints, he took that record, he owned that record, he got that record. That's his record now. Now, away from the offense, let's go back to the defense. Oh, salami, baloney. In all my years, I would never think I would bow down to the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense did real well today. They came with timely blitzes. They were able to get pressure on Simeon most of the whole game. They were able to get some. I think they sacked him once or twice in this game, and he threw 2 interceptions. Both interceptions were thrown to Darius Slay. Darius Slay caught one. He caught one for a pick, and then he caught one and ran one. I think 35, 40 yards up the field for a score, and all that was done in the first half. Slay is having an All-Pro year. The Eagles haven't had an All-Pro corner, and God, I'm not exactly sure how long. I want to say the Eagles' last All-Pro corner might have been I want to say Malcolm Jenkins. I think Malcolm Jenkins was the last Eagles All-Pro corner, but Jenkins played safety. He played both safety spots, corner as well. But at pure corner, I would have to say Leo Shepard. I think Leo Shepard was the Eagles' last Pro Bowl All-Pro corner the Eagles has ever had. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, that's a long time ago. Leo Shepard was 2-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. Sheldon Brown had 1 All-Pro Pro Bowl season. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I think Darius Slay is about to break that record, and that's a long. That record was over 20 years. Leo Shepard played played with the Eagles back in the no, not 20 years, about 10 or 15 years. I'm sorry, 10 or 15 years. Shepard came back off injury and had a good year, and he won going to the Pro Bowl in 2003 and 2004. That's what I want to say. So, and everyone lacked on the Eagles have had good corners, and now we seem to have them good corners in stable condition now because we got Nelson on one side, Slay on the other. But I think after the rest of the year, I don't see no team throwing the ball towards Darius Slay because Darius Slay has once again reclaimed himself as the #1 lockdown corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I'm saying? He playing on the 1-year deal. It's a good trade. The Eagles might re-sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal when the season comes to an end. Because the Eagles need to find themselves another corner to eventually be the heir apparent. Because I don't think Nelson's coming back this year. I doubt very seriously. He only had 1 pick, but he do have quite a few tackles. But he only had 1 pick, while Slay had 3. So it just goes to show that even though we need a cornerback opposite Darius Slay, they finally got that, and then Slay has been able to evolve into the corner the Eagles wanted him to be because the couple of years that he played under Jim Schwartz had him to play more dime corner and more slot corner than anybody in the NFL. And that's one of the reasons why them back-to-back years he didn't. I think he had 1 interception the last year that Schwartz was the coach. I mean, was the defensive coordinator. The first year he got here, he didn't get no picks at all. He had 1 pick last year, and this year he only got 3 picks. So he had kind of double or maybe triple the amount of interception that he got this year compared to what he got last year. So things are looking up for this Eagles defense. The Eagles defense still ranked low in the 20s, but if they keep playing the way they're playing, they could wind up as a top 15 ranked defense going into the playoffs. So I really don't want to. I mean, in this video, I know I was saying I can sniff a playoff victory or playoff appearance. I don't want to go very far yet because see, we still got to play the New York Giants twice. We still got to play the Dallas Cowboys, which is the last game of the year. And then we got to play the Washington Redskins twice. So, like I said, Washington Redskins won today. You know what I'm saying? And so that game against the Washington Redskins is gonna be an uphill battle. Both of them games that we play them gonna be an uphill battle. So the Eagles could lose one of them games against the Washington Redskins. We could lose 1 game. You know what I'm saying? And that might be their home game against Washington. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not starving or proud. I mean, actually, I am proud of my team for winning back-to-back games for the first time all season. I'm not ecstatic. Let's put it. I'm not ecstatic against the Washington football team. You know what I'm saying? Because they are good, and you begin. And if you've seen the highlights today on Fox Network, this quarterback they got, they boy pretty good. He's very good, and the Washington Redskins got 2 wide receivers on the outside that are very good. They got one of the better tight ends in the game. You know what I'm saying? And they got a very potent running game. And they got a top 5 ranked defense like the New Orleans Saints who we played today. So we can't blow smoke up their asses yet until we at least beat the Washington Redskins at least once. That's the game that now concerns me. It used to be the New York Jets because the way the Eagles were playing early in the year of their horrible defense that Jonathan Gannon was currently running at the time. Because I think 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 videos that I made prior to the day's victory, I said if the Eagles don't get their defense in order, we will lose the game against the New York Jets. That game concerned me the most because we are 10 or we like 10, 11, or 12 games that we have beat the New York Jets. We have lost to them. Matter of fact, that's the only record that stands 0. While all the other 32 teams have played each other, there's no 0 victory. There's no 0 losses. The Eagles are the only team that owned the New York Jets with 0 losses. More wins, 0 losses. I want that record to stand still for the rest of the entire team, or at least as long as I'm breathing. I want that to remain the same. You know what I'm saying? Because The other games that we played teams on, we got more wins or less wins when it comes to margin of victories and margin of losses against the other teams that we have played in either conference, AFC or NFC. This New York Jets game is very vital to me because we are undefeated against them. Like I said, if the Eagles didn't get their defense together, there's going to be an issue with the New York Giants, who we play next week, and against the New York Jets, who we play after that. So, if we beat the Jets, if we beat the Giants, which is more than likely we will, because the Giants are, and like I said, the Giants are a subpar team, but they are not a good team. They're not a great team. They're in the middle margin of subpar, which means they're neutral. So if we can beat the Jets, beat the Giants twice, that'll be good for us. If we beat the Washington Redskins twice, that'll be good for us. But the Washington Redskins game is unlikely to be back-to-back victories against them. So beating them one time would be good for me. And the last game against the Cowboys, I hope the Cowboys play all their players. I want them to play all their players. I want them to. I want them to at least play. If they don't play all their players, at least play some of their players. Because Eagles need this victory against the Cowboys to at least keep that sweep from going on. You know what I'm saying? So, without any further ado, like I said before, the Eagles did real well offensively. Jalen Hurts threw for under 220 yards once again in this game, but he ran for 3 touchdowns, which gave him the all-time record that was once held by Randall Cunningham. He is now 2 rushing touchdowns past Randall Cunningham's all-time quarterback rushing record in one season. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We are on the rise. Teams are still thinking we are a loaded team. We're shooting up the boards right now, you know what I'm saying? So, the draft picks now, the way that they're looking and the way they're stacking out, I'm okay with all 3 draft picks. As a matter of fact, the Indianapolis Colts, led by Carson Wentz, they also won today as well. So, the more game Carson Wentz wins, the more the lower that draft pick is going to be, which means that the Eagles will have a top 3 draft pick top 5 draft pick because that draft pick is owned by the Miami Dolphins. So we're going to have a top 5 draft pick. The Eagles should have a top 15 draft pick, and the Eagles should have their own draft pick, which is going to be lower than 20. So it's going to be in that category. So the Eagles could come out victorious in the draft board, but like I say, it depends on who they pick with the first pick in the NFL draft next season. But away with the NFL draft picks right now, that's focused on the game because I'm so happy that the Eagles won the football game. Because in the game against the that first victory that we had, I wasn't smiling at first. You know what I'm saying? But this game here, like my man Fed Notion once say, warm it up though. You know. We got this victory in hand. We got it. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this video on a high note. Hurts did real well. He hurt back-to-back teams with the run game. The Eagles be running the ball efficiently. Offensive line protect real well, but they allow him to get sacked 3 times in this game, which had to be fixed against the game against the New York Giants and further on. The defense for the first time in back-to-back games had applied pressure to opposing quarterbacks. They didn't get no sacks against Simeon. I don't think they did. If they did, it might have been 2 sacks, might have been 1. I'm not exactly sure, but they did get to him quite a bit in the first half and in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, they kind of backed up a little bit. And what hurt me the most though, and when they were playing when they were playing soft coverages. And they were allowing Simeon to pick us apart to get the first downs and get it out of bounds and stop the clock. And then the last one he threw in the end zone towards his left. The boy caught the touchdown pass, and when he did, he looked back at the cornerback, and then he said you short. So he was short, and that would give him 29 points. Now that needs to be fixed as well. The Eagles need to stop playing soft coverages during the ending of games. Even though we got the victory at hand, do not allow the opponent to come back in games, because had that been like the third quarter, like 7 or 8 minutes left in the game, the Saints could have came back and won this game. So Gannon needs to work up on that a whole lot more on the defense side of football. He cannot allow teams to come back and do us like that. He needs to stop that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand you want to keep everything in front of you. That's understandable. But you can't play soft even when they get to the end of the games. Even if you get the victory at hand, like we had, like you put up 40, we put up a 40 burger. I understand that, but you can't allow teams to come back like that. He lucky that it wasn't like no 7 or 8 minutes left in this game, because had it been, the Saints could have came back and all they needed was to stop the Eagles 3 times and get 3 touchdown scores, and that would have destroyed us. That probably been like 41-40. The Saints could have won by 1 point. You know what I'm saying? So that cannot be allowed. Gannon needs to work up on that. So, in my overall rating of offense, defense, special teams, today the offense gets a B+. Yes, a B+. Last week I said either B- or I might have said C-. They get a B+ today. And we got to get a B+ because they ran the ball efficiently, but Hurts threw for on a 200-yard pass. Now, had he threw for over 200 yards pass in this game and maybe 1 score, it would be an A+. Now, for the defense did really well up into the 4th quarter, up to the ending minutes of the 4th quarter. I give them a C+. Yes, C+, and you know why? Because they were able to get pressure on Travis Simeon. They hit him, popped him, knocked him down, and I think they sacked him maybe once or twice in the game. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that they put pressure on him, game in, game out. Had they stopped them from scoring in the last minutes of the 4th quarter, it would be a B-. So, with that further ado, and the special teams get a C+, because they were able to corral the guys and the guy and our kicker Saparkas, or name starts with an S. He able to pump the ball from our end of the end zone back toward their end of the end zone and pin them beyond the 10-yard line or beyond the 5-yard line. So that's why the best team gets a C- on that. So, and coaching staff did real wonderfully. They get an A. Nothing but an A. No A+, no A-. They get an A because they did good coaching in this game. That they out-coached the veteran coach and Sean Payton, who has won a Super Bowl almost 10 years ago. That's why they get an A. So, without any further ado, going in the video on a high note. I'm all smiles, baby. I'm all smiles. So, comment, like, share, and subscribe. And please hit that bell on top, because that bell lets you know when I make a video, when it comes directly from me to you, and you know when I make a video. So this is your boy, the Green Talons, coming at you with a victory video, which is the Eagles 40-29. So, peace. Holla at your boy. P.S. All my Eagles YouTube subscribers out there who came to my video, I thank you all very much, because without you, it would be no me. Even though I got over 300 videos on my channel, they didn't bet that almost 5 years ago. If you want to view our videos, you go ahead and view them all if you like. You know what I'm saying? I hope that you do. But anyway, woo, 40-29. Eagles have not put up a 40 burger on a team in God knows when. Matter of fact, the last 30 burger they put up was against the Detroit Lions. That was the last 30 plus point game overall. Peace. One love.